Hi guys, so today we're at Disneyland in California, which is one of my favorite places to visit when we come to Los Angeles. We just pop on over to Anaheim, and some of the incredible things about this place is that there are so many hidden secrets, occult secrets in fact, hidden into the architectonics, the structure, the history behind Disneyland. And I'm not just talking about the rumors that we know are true about people dying over at the Haunted Mansion or spreading their ashes there, which is also true of some of the attractions over at the Magic Kingdom in Disney World in Florida. You know, there was a beam that landed on someone over at the Pirates of the Caribbean in Disney World, which some say has caused that place to be haunted. But today we're going to focus more on the history of Disneyland, some of the secrets that are here, and we're going to ask some questions like, was Walt Disney a Mason? You know, we're going to look at Club 33 and the history behind this place. But first of all, what we have to do is we have to look at Walt Disney and his incredible vision. And this place always reminds me that you're never given a hope, wish, or dream that you do not have the means to make come true. Because when Walt started this place and he stood out in front of Disneyland on July 17th, 1955, and he said, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome."
Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
He had a great vision of the past, the dreams of tomorrow, and the hopes of the future. And we see that throughout the park when we see Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland. But what's very interesting about this place is that it's actually built on the 33rd parallel, the 33rd latitude lines, just like when we go and look at Area 51, we look at great places like Glastonbury. But what we also see is that it's built across these great ley lines or electromagnetic grids, which is absolutely fascinating. Because again, look over at the Nazca lines in Peru, look over at the Great Pyramids. All these places are built in these great power structures. But what people don't know is this place was actually constructed by two brilliant minds that designed it. One of them was Harrison Buzz Price and Cornelius Vanderbilt Wood, and both of them were consultants from the famed Chevron Oil and DARPA-funded Stanford Research Institute. And many of you might know these names because they brought us, the remote viewing projects that you see with men who are staring at goats, and again, the CIA remote viewing stuff. But again, these guys were obsessed with out-of-body experiences, stargates, and so much more. But looking over here, let's walk over to the castle. Well, what's very interesting about this is that there are electromagnetic grid lines that go through this whole place, and they come right through the intersection of this castle. Now, what Wood had done is Wood actually wanted to make it so right where the intersection met, on the back side of the castle, right in Fantasyland, he wanted to place King Arthur's carousel. And he did so in order for it to act like a Tesla coil. And the Tesla coil would spin and bring this energy out and distribute it throughout the rest of the park on this grid. Now, it's very interesting that my friend Paul in Florida actually has the theory that at the Disney parks that he feels that there's a greater protective energy or an angelic presence, and most certainly that's why you get these great feelings no matter when you come. There's people from all over the world smiling, laughing, enjoying themselves. I mean, I've seen Buddhist monks here over the years, and so many faces from around the world of every nationality, every religion, every race, every creed, every background. This is an absolutely magical place. Now here's another incredible thing. When you look up at the clock over here in Fantasyland, you'll see it's just like the great astronomical clock. Whether you look over in Prague and Czech Republic, you'll see that exact type of clock with the zodiac, the zodiacal symbols. And you also see that in St. Mark's Square in Venice. You see astrotheology being represented here. If you look over at the castle, again, we see a great example of architectonics. Not only of all the Disney parks have different castles, which is fantastic. This is Sleeping Beauty's castle, of course. But you see the triumphant arches, and these designs, not only do we draw from Neoplatonic philosophy to see aesthetics and beauty, but it also reminds us of some Babylonian ideas there, which is absolutely fascinating. Now, we're on King Arthur's carousel right now in Fantasyland, and according to the theory, this is where Wood had put the carousel to act like a Tesla coil to take all the energy in Disneyland that comes down the ley line and spread it out throughout the park, magnifying the energy. But it's pretty amazing and a lot of fun. Check out the park. So if you want to find out more about Disneyland, how it was built, and all the secrets of the architectonics here, check out Latitude 33, Keys to the Kingdom by Walter Bosley. And that's on Amazon. You can get it for Kindle. It's an absolutely fascinating book that researches the history of Walt Disney, who he knew, and looking at some of the secrets of this place. But just to show you how brilliant of a man Walt Disney was and who he knew and who his friends were. Obviously, he had to be friends with some incredible business people to get Walt Disney Studios over in Burbank and to get this place built. And he went through so many struggles, so many trials, so many tribulations. But a good example of that is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, this is something that Jordan Maxwell taught me, and he has given me some incredible knowledge about the secrets behind Disneyland, and there's a very good reason for it. I mean, he's met Michael Eisner and George Lucas, and he's been in Hollywood for 55 years. But when Walt Disney and company took over Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, there's all sorts of esoteric meanings that were embedded into this. You know, in the Bible it says Israel was white as snow, and if you look at the personalities behind the Seven Dwarfs, they're all the same as the seven churches of Asia that you see in the book of Revelation in the Bible. Behind us is the Snow Whites and the Seven Dwarfs ride.
Is this faster way to Indiana?
We're in the middle of New Orleans Square, right where Adventureland and Frontierland meets. And in this area, there is a very interesting club that not a lot of people have heard of. It's called Club 33, and it's right above the Pirates of the Caribbean, which has a very important significance according to Jordan Maxwell. Now, this club has been here since the beginning. It costs about $10,000 to $25,000 a year for a membership. It takes years to get approved. It's the only place in the entire park that serves alcohol. It's got its own secret entrance, which I'm going to show you all in just a moment. And because of this, a lot of people speculated, was Walt Disney a Freemason or a 33rd degree Freemason? And I think it's safe to say that many of his friends and associates in the circle that he ran with most certainly were. Others have said, you know, because he was a childhood member of the Malays, which is a children's version of Masonry, that this kind of brought him into that circle. You know, there's no doubt about it that some very, very interesting meetings go on at this particular place. But when we look over at where it's located, if you want to follow me, I'll show you. It is located right over here as you'll walk New Orleans Square. And there's a very private door. They've actually moved the door over the years, but you only see the number 33 there. Now, again, a lot of people said, you know, why the number 33? Well, 33 could be part of Walt Disney's early address. It could be the 33rd parallel of where this place is built. But most certainly, based on who the members are, who attends, and what it's all about, it's safe to say that there could be a connection to the 33rd degree, you know, of Masonry. Now, why that number is so significant is, according to Manly P. Hall, we have 33 vertebrae in our spine. Solomon, which we know is very important, the stories of Solomon and Masonry, was said to have had his temple up for 33 years. The years of Christ are supposedly 33 years, so it's very specific. But here's Club 33, and as you'll see the windows above this, that's where you see where the club is operating right now. Now, you can get in some days as a guest, and you can come in here if someone invites you in. You can even get pictures of it or videos sometimes online, but again, it's very, very exclusive, very impressive, and quite an amazing place. Now, one thing that Jordan Maxwell has actually told me is that if you look at the history of the early Templars, they were connected to piracy. You know, they're just like in the Jolly Roger. for the Jolly Roger. You saw the early flag of the skull and the crossbones, which again in masonry we know is connected to the lecture of the widow's son. So what's very interesting about this place is also, when we see the early Templars and their early flag of the Jolly Roger, before there was a man and his horse, their logo was, their motto was "As above, so below." And they went off to form the first World Bank, again over in Geneva, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and all those areas. When we look at, there's a very, very interesting connection to early piracy masonry. So if you look at the symbolism, that literally when you're going through the Pirates Ride and there's the Blue Bayou restaurant, which people are waiting for behind us to make reservation, right above it you have a very significant club connected to this history. And if we think about all these fantastic movies that are made with Johnny Depp now, you could say that there is sort of a historical tribute to all their old buddies. So it's a very specific place for magic and symbolism, a very important place, and it's actually one of my very, very favorite places in the world to visit. I also love going to the Magic Kingdom, which is equally as incredible. There's so much to see and do, and really with the world and the state that it is, we need places like this, places that remind us to believe in our hopes, wishes, and dreams, places that remind us to have fun. It's such an incredible energy. But in the meantime, I'm going to go out and get a churro, which is our tradition here, and I'm going to go ride Pirates of the Caribbean and make my way over to Indiana Jones, which also has symbolism, by the way, with the Templars and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's so many secrets embedded in there. Until next time, enjoy the video, and we'll talk to you guys soon.